Good day. We have a winter storm on the way, so I'll talk you through some of the details of what we're seeing right now. Right now it looks like snow will begin somewhere around Thursday. There's a chance that it could actually come in central Idaho on Wednesday, but majority of the snow and any appreciable accumulations look like they should start on Thursday, which is especially in central Idaho and northwest Montana. We're also expecting heavy snow for some parts of the forecast area Thursday night and Friday. And then rising snow levels during Friday, so we might start to see more freezing rain and then a switch over to rain during Friday. And then snow looks like it should continue through the weekend in the mountains, particularly in northwest Montana. This image here shows moisture, and this is a forecast model. And when we get to these greens and especially the yellows, this is showing that there's a lot of moisture available. And we move forward through time. This is showing 5 p.m. Wednesday. As we get into later in the day, Wednesday night, we start to see some of these blues. And that's the beginning of moisture getting into the area. And we're going to probably be mostly cold at the valleys and throughout the whole region. So snow will start through this period. And even though there's not a lot of moisture early on, sometimes this ends up overproducing on snow, where we tend to be a little low on snow amounts. But as we get into that Thursday night, especially, and Friday morning, these greens start to make their way into the area, and you see that the Clearwater Mountains up through Lookout Pass, northwest Montana, Marias Pass, really get straight underneath this moisture feed. And this is one of those setups that could end up being a lot of snow. Even the valleys of northwest Montana have a pretty good potential of having a fair amount of snow, especially early on this Thursday night and Friday morning, and maybe even through the day Friday. So the moisture will be here. It'll still be fairly cold, so it's a pretty good setup. Now this moisture hangs out up in northwest Montana and the northern Idaho panhandle through Friday, Saturday. Even though it weakens, it's still showing signs of being here. And then on Sunday, it looks like a cold front will come through. That moisture may shift out, and it's probably going to continue to produce some snow showers. Now, as for details, here's one of our simulated radar loops. This one we're starting at midnight on Wednesday, and some of these returns start to show up by early Wednesday morning. And it'll probably take some time before any snow reaches the ground because there's still a little bit of a dry layer. But it's not out of the question for central Idaho to maybe have a few places with a little bit of snow during the morning that could extend maybe into the afternoon. But it's really later in the day when we start to see more substantial returns. Here we are in the evening time frame, and some of this area that's not really showing up yet, this could be filled in as well. But this northern Clearwater, Orofino, all you guys, it looks like it could really start going later in the day on Wednesday. Then these returns start making their way in to even western Montana and northwest Montana during Thursday. So light snow, maybe even periods of moderate snow during Thursday. And this one runs out of frames here later in the day, just as this pretty strong warm front looks like it would get here, and this is when some really intense snow is possible. So let me start at the same time, 5 p.m. Friday on a different model. This one doesn't quite have the resolution, and it only goes every 6 hours, but I really like how this shows the area, especially up here, Clearwaters, Lolo Pass, Lookout Pass, northwest Montana. It really shows that this area is just going to be in this persistent area of precipitation. So here we are, 5 p.m. Saturday. It's still going. It moved up a little bit farther north, but then here we are back south. And then there's still a lot of question out here on Sunday, but it still looks like we'll have some showers around. For some point detail, here's Yak, which is probably one of the points in northwest Montana at lower elevation that could end up being the snowiest. And we don't have a lot in the forecast so far for that Wednesday and early Thursday. This is one of those time periods where I wouldn't be surprised if we end up getting a fair amount more snow than this And then we get into this period on Thursday night, where the snow really kicks in. And it might even extend a little bit farther out into Friday, depending on how quickly we warm up. But this already is showing about 10 inches of snow during that period. And then a little bit farther to the southeast, here's another point. Similar story, where this could be a little bit higher early on and then maybe extending some snow out a little bit farther into Friday. But again, pretty good snow totals. Lookout Pass, we have a fair amount of snow, and again, like, these could be underdone. These all look pretty good for amounts, and some of these could be maybe even a little higher. But a period of time here, Thursday night and Friday, with heavy snow, probably a lot of occurrences of heavy snow. And this one's already showing a good 18 inches of snow by, the late in the day on Friday. Lolo Pass, we don't have quite as much snow. Still, if we just look at the progression here, some snow early on, increasing. These could even be higher, and then continuing to see some snow. As for the threat matrix, we have some freezing fog that we're worried about developing, especially in west central Montana or into north central Idaho. Snow, we highlighted everywhere on Thursday, and maybe some moderate impacts from snow from west central, northwest Montana, and north central Idaho. Now, southwest Montana and Lemhi County are kind of out of this for the most part, but some light snow is possible early on, and again on Friday. But Friday, we're really highlighting here in northwest Montana, especially some of the higher elevations and lower elevations that are closer to Idaho. Really could see a lot of snow during this, and then mountain snow is probably the main thing for central Idaho. I also should point out here that we are highlighting some freezing rain that is probably going to end up in the mix on Friday at some point. And we're keeping the snow going for northwest Montana and the high terrain of west central and in the north central Idaho, and then some light snow for Sunday. Thank you for joining. We will have another briefing on Thursday, if not sooner, depending on how things change. Thank you.